Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe This Got Greenlit 2, the Summer of Sequels, a show where we discuss sequels from our childhood, our nostalgia from watching them as kids, how these franchises got made yet again, and our experiences rewatching them as adults. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Warner, and joining me as always, Matthew Pelton.
Nicholas?
Yes.
First of all, hello.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're fucking old as shit now, dude.
Yeah. I was saying before we started recording that my back is hurting just sitting here. So
the back pain's begun. You're going to bed earlier.
Yeah.
You
Even
started,
earlier
like-
than I normally do.
Yeah, okay. All bits aside, for the record, this guy's like the fucking oldest man I know. he lives in Florida. He plays golf.
Yeah, I'm already in the retirement area. I do
you're
not play
in-
golf. I have played golf twice in my life.
That is not true.
That is absolutely true.
We leave each other little voice messages. We're adorable. We talk and love each other more than him and his own girlfriend. But like once every
That's
Friday,
crazy.
I get a voice message from this fucking guy like, "Oh, I'm going to the holes, man. Gonna go play 18."
The holes.
And he's got his little
My
fucking
Shia
vest. Yeah, you tell me, dude. Like, okay.
Vest?
Genuine question. Do you sit down in the morning and one, do you drink coffee? Two, do you read a physical newspaper? Yes or no?
I'm sad that I have to tell people this on
This
our-
shouldn't
our
even.
episode.
You didn't even have to hesitate.
No. I don't. I would love to say that I do. I feel that leans more into the performative male category that I've been seeing relatively recently, and I don't want to do that.
That you've been entering.
And this is the problem, is Maddie and I were talking the other day about yesterday about running headphones. She was like, well, wired headphones are like in. And I was like, no, that's too performative. It's too
Dude, I know, and I've been using wired headphones my whole life.
Yes, and you
Yeah,
get
and I
away
look
with
like
it
a
because you
fucking
just
dick.
had never.
No, I
it
never have not
changed.
done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I go for a run and I have these big goofy like Apple wired headphones.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not because I just don't own the other one. Like they're cheap and they're nice and whatever.
Right.
That's just the
you
one
have
I go
You
for.
have a toothpick in your mouth and like you have rings on. You have a
I have a
collared
book,
shirt,
a guitar
with a
I
vest
can't
over
play.
It. Yeah, right.
It's
right.
great,
And you're crocheting as you're running.
Oh, of course. Dude, I got it.
Oh my sweet lord!
Can you do me a favor?
I will cut that out.
Can you just censor it? Just let me bleep it out.
Okay. Oh my god. I can't even transition from that.
Well,
I'm
dude,
just
now
gonna
that you're-
I'm just gonna introduce the movie.
No, but you're so fucking old now. I gotta up the young energy, man.
I don't think you have. I mean, you're already wearing a Captain Crunch beanie,
Yeah.
and a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt.
And I have my unmade bed at 5 p.m.
Dude.
I feel like I got to the age of 17 and just stopped progressing. And then
If anything,
you got to
you're
the
the
age
old
of
man.
you got to the age of like 75. Like we were polar opposites.
Oh yeah. I guess You stayed 7, and I am 77.
Yeah, I go to bed at like 3 or 4 in the morning when you're
Eating
getting
cereal.
up to go for a little morning run. Like
Right.
fuck you.
Yeah.
You suck. You're like too good at this.
Well, you know what also sucks is getting your vegetables stolen. Today, we are talking about the 2005 film Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
That was a wild transition, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about what you said that I bleeped, and I just needed to somehow get away from the upfront conversation and talk about our movie today.
I appreciate
not only
the
because
bleep.
I'm in just a state of shock, but also because I am so goddamn excited about this movie. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, I'm always the one that picks the good movies. It doesn't matter. I don't even care. I'm just excited that we're talking about one of my favorite movies of all time as of the recording of this episode.
Why am I getting fucking roasted out here? What did I do to you?
I don't know, roasted me the past 40 episodes.
Okay, that's fair.
Relentlessly.
For like 30 seconds, you just gave me the energy I've been giving you for 5 years of friendship. And I'm like, whoa, man.
Consistently.
Take it easy.
It's not just in spurts. No.
No, it's been our entire like relationship together. Okay, can I address something?
Sure.
From the jump?
Sure.
Okay.
If I don't have to censor it.
You're gonna have to bleep all of this. None of this is usable.
Yeah.
Okay. I always pick the good movies. Yes, that is true. And like yesterday, we knew we were recording today, and I was super pumped. Like, oh, Curse of the Were Rabbit, here we go. We just talked to the guy, and he was fucking sick, and he looks like Paul Bettany. And now we're doing like the actual episode. And then I woke up this morning, and I'm feeling real sicky poo. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not feeling great. So just know 2 things. 1, halfway through this episode, I'm either gonna throw up or just shit in my pants. One of those 2 is gonna happen. And 2, I might be like a little harsher on this film than I intend to be. But it's not the movie's fault. I just feel like fucking ass, dude.
That's fair. I think I'm gonna influence you to not be.
I would appreciate it if you
And
could.
I think that's gonna happen because I have nothing but good things to say about this one.
You might have to pull me back a little.
I absolutely will.
Listen, you already had to fucking bleep me once, okay?
Okay, so going into childhood stories, I know that from this show's inception, we have had this movie on the list forever. This show has existed for 3.5 years,
which is insane,
and it's just been there forever. So I'm going to start with you because I know you were the one to initiate this and put it on the list.
Yeah, I pick all the good movies.
Sure.
You're welcome. Can you name one good movie you picked? One.
I'd have to go back. Okay, go ahead.
Shit, not to like destroy my own argument.
Curious George
and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, you just named 2. Perfect.
Yeah, and Nightmare Before Christmas is one of the best movies we've ever done. God damn it.
And you can't even argue Pan's Labyrinth because that was Andy.
Fuck. Man.
Yeah, I will say you've had some good ones. I think we have a pretty decent split. Maybe I lean more like bad movies, but overall I think we have a pretty okay split.
Well, you know what it is? Okay, genuinely, I think like the really bad ones is pretty split. Like I picked Howard the Duck. I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? But like a lot of like just the middle of the road ones are Nick Warner choices.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah. but we don't know, to be fair.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the reason the show has started. Is like obviously these movies were big in my childhood, but we were like, okay, these have to be talked about because they were huge in our childhood. But then you rewatch them and you're like, what the fuck did we watch as kids?
And then like we talked to the fucking writer of Robots, and even he's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. And we've had it like multiple times.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I know the movie's okay.
Movie's fucking ass, dude.
Yeah. But yes, so you obviously watched this a lot growing up.
Yeah. So, okay, this was a big one because most of my movies growing up, like I said on the show, were my dad taking me and my brother to the theater. We saw, if there was a new kids movie, we fucking saw it in theaters. Yeah. But for Were Rabbit, I had no memory of seeing it with my dad. So for one of the fucking first times ever in the history of this show, I called him in prep and I said, "Hey, do you remember Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were Rabbit?" And he was like, "What the fuck is that?" I was like, "Oh." Like, he had no memory of it.
No.
He had no memory.
Okay.
So I'm like, where did I watch this?
I'm scared.
And then I sat down and I was like, okay, let me think. Let me genuinely think. Because I knew you were going to ask me this question. And I know, like, haha, it's a bit. I don't care about Greenlit. I don't do anything for Greenlit. I barely even watch the movie, whatever. But I'm like, no, I want to know. Because this is, like, my choice for, like, 3.5 years. Yeah. And then I had a dull memory. It's like it fell from the sky. Right. And I was like, oh, my God.
Chicken Little.
This is much better than Chicken Little. Don't compare Were Rabbit to Chicken Little.
The sky is falling. Never mind. It went right over your head. It's okay.
Dude, we cover a movie, I forget about it.
It's
okay. You think I remember this?
Again, that movie was bigger for me.
Come on now.
No, you loved Chicken Little.
I fucking love Chicken Little. Yeah, actually, I might like Chicken Little more. But Curse of the Were Rabbit, I'm sitting here in like a fucking fallen memory, like fucking your Chicken Little thing, whatever. A Nick joke. Insert Nick joke here. I fucking remembered sitting in the back of like my mom's Suburban. Yeah. And you know, like back, I don't know, they probably still do it, like back in the day when cars had like the shitty little TV. Yeah, on like the back of the seat for the kids.
It was either the back of the seat or it was the one in the middle that flipped down from the seat.
Yes. Yeah. I think she had one on the back of the seat.
Dude, do you know that was the first time I ever watched Tarzan? Was in one of those ones that flipped down. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
You know what's even crazier than that?
You've never fucking seen
I don't remember ever interrupting your childhood stories on the show like that.
Fucking isn't this how this show works?
I think that's true.
You
It's
interrupt
mostly
me
just
every
interrupting.
time.
And then you have to like pull out some crazy
Just
transition
guide
to
us
get back on track.
This is the whole thing.
What was it? Speaking of stolen vegetables.
Do you remember what show you're on right now?
No, dude. I'm actively shitting my pants.
No,
I don't know what's going on.
I'm fucking
Okay, my point.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
I don't even know why I made this such a long-winded story. It's not even a fucking story. I watched this in the back of my mom's car many times.
That's why I cut you off. We had to get back. No.
Yeah, it was dumb. I thought it would be a funny story. Okay.
No, it is, and that's it's such a like 2000s story though.
Yeah,
of, like,
it
the
is,
first
right?
time you saw this was in your the TV embedded into the minivan. Like, who the fuck else is ever gonna have that story?
And the thing is, like, I couldn't tell you if I just watched this once in a car and the visuals just like really stuck with me, or if I watched it like many, many times as a kid.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is like the thing about stop motion is that it is such a unique thing, and there's not a lot that is out there.
It stands
as
out.
We will learn from our guests later on in this episode, but like there's not a lot. So when you watch something like Nightmare Before Christmas, you watch something like Coraline, you watch something like Wallace and Gromit, there's that like texture thing that you really start to notice, and it sticks with you. Like even when you watch it as an adult, you're like, that's such a unique art form that doesn't come around that often, that it's visually striking.
Especially
so
like the design of the were-rabbit itself.
Oh, without
Like I could,
scary.
my whole life I could draw that from memory. Like I know exactly what that fucking thing looks like.
100%.
But again, I don't know if I watched it once or this was like big. All I know is when you like came up to me and you're like, hey, you came up with the idea for the show, even though I think I've taken credit for it since then. But when you came up with the idea, you're like, what are some big childhood movies? This was like top 5.
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, like I'm
pretty sure.
It's always been there.
And that flows so perfectly into my childhood stories, because when you said that, in my head, if you remember, I was like, I don't know what that is. Like,
yeah.
I think I was like, I know Wallace and Gromit because I knew Grand Day Out, but I didn't really know Curse the Were-Rabbit as much, because I was like, is it this weird spin-off thing? I didn't really know. And so going into this, I had almost the complete opposite reaction, where I was like, oh, I'm going to go into this being the guy who never watched it and then came around and was like, oh my gosh, it's so great. As I started watching it, I was like, oh no, this was a huge one in my childhood.
Oh, let's go.
Because I remember so vividly the rabbit, the were-rabbit, and then also the like vegetable scenes, which is like most of the movie where it's going around, it's like burrowing, and the vegetables get like sucked away, and like and also like the eyes and like the alarm eyes, and also I mean just generally speaking for Aardman, but like their character design is so unique that like anytime I even look at a British person, I just see the characters from Aardman, and I'm like, okay, yes, this like, they just somehow nailed it, even though the characters look nothing like actual humans, obviously.
No, not at all.
But like the vibe is so specific, and I think it nails it.
No,
and it's
I
just
agree.
like, it's so good. So I realized as I was rewatching this that yes, this wasn't my first time watching this, but for some reason I could not tell you that I had seen it up until that moment, and I like rewatched it, and it like unlocked a memory.
No
and
shit.
I was like, oh shit, I definitely have seen this numerous times. So it was like a weird like flip for the both of us.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. No, okay, you know what's interesting though? Is when you remembered that you remembered it.
Yeah.
Did you remember any plot details, or was it just visuals?
Just visuals.
Same here.
Because it's such a simple plot.
Fair.
Like, it's one thing.
But like, okay, the movie has like the little fucking eyes in the painting.
Yeah.
And you have Were-Rabbit. And then you have like the fucking princess and the hunter with the gun.
Yeah. Yes.
All of that stuff has just been in my brain for 25 years almost.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you a single plot detail.
Yo, no, totally. And that's why I was like, are the vegetables part of the plot? Because I remember them so vividly, but obviously it's the whole thing.
It's
but I
the whole
couldn't tell
movie.
you that was the plot, which is so interesting and weird. But that's the reason we do the show.
Fair enough. And it's also like, I know we also talked to a very cool guest coming up in a second.
Yeah.
But it's now like famously on this show, Nick has kind of always hated animation and like stop motion.
Oh yeah, I fucking hate it. It's awful.
Dude, he hates it, and he's like, it's for babies. He only watches like
crazy
live action Transformers and John Wick and
Are you
stuff.
sure you're not talking about yourself?
I think I'm actively having a fever dream as we record this episode.
It's gonna be like the Flushed Away episode, the infamous.
Did we do Flushed Away?
Dude.
Did we have a guest for Flushed Away or no?
No. Do you remember? Do you not remember that was like the one episode during that season? And I think to this day, where it was just the two of us. We recorded that episode. We left the studio and we both felt like shit. We felt like shit about the episode. The episode ended up fine, but like we both like for years after that, we both were like, yeah, that famously was like just a fever dream of an episode because we don't remember recording it. We felt like shit during it, and like we just were so out of it.
Oh my god, I do remember. Can I also?
It's like the one that was like it's like the lost episode without it being a lost episode. Please go listen to it immediately, or at least just like the first 10 minutes before we actually start talking about the movie, because then we probably just get into like normal stuff.
Yeah,
but you can hear us talk shit in the beginning and just be miserable. So going into the production of this movie was directed by Nick Park, the creator of Wallace and Gromit, director of Grand Day Out and Chicken Run, of course, and Steve Box, who was an animator on Chicken Run. Cinematography was done by Dave Alex Ridditt, who did Chicken Run, Shaun the Sheep, So You Want to Be a Pirate, and so many more. Lots of Wallace and Gromit stuff. And Tristan Oliver, who did Chicken Run, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Paranorman, Isle of Dogs, Loving Vincent, among many, many more. And both worked on multiple like Wallace and Gromit things.
He's
We're
also
very excited.
I'm about to say, before, I'm going to cut you off for a second.
Yeah, please.
Because one thing you forgot to mention when you were shouting him out is he's just one of the fucking coolest dudes ever.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest guys we've ever like spoken to, ever.
Yeah, or just like referenced on the show. Like he's like a fucking rock star. This guy, he's like,
he is a rock star, and we are thrilled to have him on, which we will get to in a moment. But in the meantime, this movie was edited by David McCormick and Gregory Perler. I didn't make any notes of what they've done before, so that's fine.
They edit films.
Music was done by Julian Knott. However, this is a big moment on the show.
Yes, it is.
You know exactly why, because future guest Hans Zimmer produced this soundtrack, putting him finally into our Hall of Fame.
Let's go.
Just for everyone out there listening who has forgotten about our Hall of Fame, this is an esteemed honor on the show for people who have been shown up on the show, worked on the movies 5 separate times. It's basically our 5-timers club. So as a refresher, he did the music, of course, for an infinite amount of things. But on this show, Kung Fu Panda, Megamind, Shark Tale, Rango, and Curse the Were-Rabbit, putting him into our Hall of Fame. He joins. This is who is in our Hall of Fame. Composer John Debney, voice actor Frank Welker, voice actor Patrick Warburton,
King, white whale,
executive Jeffrey Katzenberg, composer Harry Gregson Williams, and actor Robin Williams in our Hall of Fame.
Damn.
Congratulations to Hans Zimmer for making our list.
It's a good list.
The fact that we have Warburton, Robin Williams, and Hans Zimmer in this,
what the fuck?
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, one, everyone in the 5-timers club will eventually be future guests. That's the rule.
Right.
Everyone.
Including Robin Williams.
Especially Robin Williams. It's going to be a great episode. And 2, people don't know this, Nick. It's an industry secret, okay? You might have to cut it out of the episode.
Okay.
But the Greenlit 5-timers club, it's a very, like, esteemed award in Hollywood. Very many people know it. Very many people are fighting to get into it.
Yeah.
And so since living in LA, I've been, I don't want to say harassed, but I've been accosted on the streets, if you will, by very big celebrities.
Yeah.
Basically begging to get into the 5-timers club.
Right.
And
Especially the ones that have like 3 or 4.
Yeah, they're so close.
Yeah.
I'm like, please just cover the rest of the Spy Kids movies.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. He was the first one.
I'm not calling out anyone by name. Not calling it out. But just point is, for Hans, we know he's listening. Future guest on the show.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It's a big deal.
Right.
I would love to send you a 5-timers robe that's like pink and it has a 5 and like the Greenlit font, but Nick said no.
Yeah.
He didn't really like your most recent score. His opinion, not mine.
Whoa, wow, hold on there.
I just want to put that out. He always criticizes your music on the show and just a really nasty dude. But just know, it's a big moment for you, and you're welcome. Truly, you're welcome.
I have to bring this up because it was one of the greatest videos I have ever seen while we're on the subject of Hans Zimmer. So obviously Hans Zimmer is well respected. We love him. We love his music. And he's just a legend in the industry. You think of the titans of composing. You think of, him, John Williams, Alan Silvestri, among a few others. But I always just pictured him as like this very proper, like when I think of composers, I think of very like proper artists. They're sitting doing their thing. Now, if you don't know this artist who is fantastic, Ray.
No idea.
Okay. You know the song is Baby, where the hell is my husband?
Oh, I hate that song.
Okay. So she is like this massive artist doing her thing.
Yeah, it's a big song.
Incredible. Right. Has 49.5 million monthly listeners on Spotify.
Okay. That's about what we have.
Absurd. So she comes out with this song with Hans Zimmer.
What?
He has this whole composition. The end of the song is like a movie score, like a classic Hans Zimmer movie score. It's so epic. It's unbelievable. It is like so fucking good. Yes. The full
big
orchestra comes in
kind
at
of
the
thing,
very end. It's so powerful. Like I was like nearly in tears the first time I heard it. I like literally Maddie and I were in the car and like I had like we had to play it again because I was like this is insane. This is like the most cinematic song I have ever heard in my life. So there's this video that was going around for a little while, like a few months ago, that was Hans Zimmer performing that song live with this artist. And he is like, I think he was like on the piano, but he like had like, he had like this like slightly unbuttoned like dress shirt, sleeves were rolled up. This is from what I remember, to be fair. I don't know if this is exact, but this is like the vibes I was getting. He had like the old man like square glasses, but they were like below, like they were like down
like on
at
the bridge of his nose kind of thing.
Exactly. And he was just like jamming out. He was vibing so hard. And I have never seen a video of a guy who I respected so much that made me respect him more because he just looked like he was having a blast. And he just looked like someone's grandpa, was just up on stage, just having the time of his life. And I have to shout out that video because if you haven't seen it, please go look it up because it is the most incredible thing I have ever seen in my life. And it made me love him just that much more.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How come I can't get you this excited about like my scripts or something? Like, come on. You know that one artist, dude?
Dude, I was jaw dropped at this. It's the sweetest thing because it almost like humanizes him because he's like a god to me. And then you see that and you're just like, oh my God, he's like one of us.
You know how many times I've tried to get you into like Oasis or something or U2 and this is what you get excited over.
Dude, just watch the video. Everyone out there, just watch the video. It's incredible.
I will.
Good.
I totally will.
So moving on.
Wait, before we move on from Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Sure.
Every I don't know why. Every time someone says the name Hans Zimmer or we're watching like a Greenlit movie and his name pops up or like whatever, I immediately just think of this behind the scenes video for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he did the soundtrack for it, but he did it with Pharrell Williams. And it's just
really?
Yeah, he did it with Pharrell. And this is like peak Pharrell Williams. They did
like happy.
Yeah,
Pharrell
like
Williams
happy
era. Yeah.
Same era.
About yeah.
And it's just this behind the scenes like video of them doing the score and being interviewed, and it's just like this old grandpa and just like Pharrell Williams with the biggest fucking hat you've ever seen. And it's just like the
man with the yellow hat.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. It's like, what am I looking at right now? And anytime someone says Hans Zimmer, I just giggle a little. And I'm like, yeah, that's the Amazing Spider-Man 2 guy.
I've grown to love him even more after hearing that and watching this video with Ray. Like, it's so good. I love him so much. So welcome to our Hall of Fame. I love you so much, Hans Zimmer. Please come on the show.
Please come on the show. We'll get you.
So this movie was produced by Aardman Animations and DreamWorks Animations. So now it's at the point of the show where we're going to talk about budget and how much this movie made in the box office. So as a refresher, because this is technically, also we should have mentioned this at the top of the show, this is technically a sequel to A Grand Day Out because it's the Wallace and Gromit universe, but it's not a direct, like, A Grand Day Out is not a feature.
I was about to say.
And it's not like a direct sequel. I'm pretty sure this is the first feature-length Wallace and Gromit movie.
I believe that's true.
Which is, it's a weird breaking of the sequel world and like way that the show works, but it's still technically in the universe. It's another iteration of it. So we've seen these characters before, but like the whole budget thing, it gets interesting.
Okay. Well, okay, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Because not that Wallace and Gromit, the original Wallace and Gromit, was like a series of shorts, right?
Yes.
It's not like a show.
No.
So, okay, if Wallace and Gromit Curse the Were-Rabbit counts as a sequel, is this a sequel to shorts, not like a sequel to a TV show?
Right.
I don't know why my brain went here, but could you say that The Mandalorian and Grogu's a sequel to The Mandalorian, or no?
I mean,
because that's more like a TV show.
I would call it. Yeah, I don't know.
Right, and it's also set up the same way where like Were-Rabbit, you don't have to watch any of the shorts, but Mandalorian and Grogu again, and who? Mandalorian and Grogu, arguably you don't have to watch any of the show. You could go in blind and still get away with it.
That's true.
My point, the only reason I'm bringing this up is, did we cheat in this episode? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because this could have been a short.
That is true.
It could.
That's a good point.
That's what I'm saying. And I guess you can argue Mandalorian movie could have been a series of episodes.
A lot of people say it should. I think
it's different because it's a TV show compared to
a bunch of shorts. Films.
Yeah. So it's like expanding the universe. I guess both are expanding the universe, but I think it feels different because it's a short film rather than a TV show.
Listen, film is in it. It counts. Short film, it counts. This is a sequel to a short film.
So as a refresher, A Grand Day Out cost just under $15,000
right,
and made $80,000 in the box office. Now, obviously, doesn't super help because it's a short and the distribution is weird and interesting. But do you want to guess how much Curse the Were-Rabbit cost and made?
Yes. What if I said no? I don't want to guess.
You have before, but we just carry on. Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay. I love when I repeat a bit and don't know it. So this was post Chicken Run.
This was post Chicken Run.
Yeah, Chicken Run's like the first Aardman feature film.
Yes,
that's my memory of it.
I believe this is the second.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
And Chicken Run was a pretty big success.
Yeah,
that's also my memory of Chicken Run.
Yeah.
So I feel like Wallace and Gromit probably. I don't know if it did. It's tough because you have Were-Rabbit, which I want to say did really good. But then I think the next Wallace and Gromit feature film was the one that came out like a year or two ago.
Yes.
Like there was a huge gap.
Yeah. They may have had a couple, but just as a point of reference, Chicken Run cost between $42 and $45 million and grossed $225 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you gave me that, actually. I'll say Were-Rabbit costs more. If Chicken Run was like 45 to 50 something, I'll say Were-Rabbit was like 72.09 million. And then for box office, I'm going to say it made less than Chicken Run.
Okay.
Even though it should have made more. And what was Chicken Run's box office again?
About 225.
225? I'll say it made like 210. I think it was less, but like just barely.
You're closer on the gross.
Oh, okay.
The movie cost $30 million to make, so
whoa, no shit, way less,
less than Chicken Run, and maybe that's like streamlining and figuring out the feature side of things.
Could be.
And then it cost. It made $192 million.
Oh, so it did make less,
still close. But that's still a sensation.
No, that's
in the
great.
Box office. That is absolutely insane.
That is fantastic, especially for the budget. That's fantastic.
Especially for the budget. And I mean, adding to it, it won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature against Corpse Bride.
Oh, shit.
And Howl's Moving Castle, which is another fantastic Miyazaki movie, and I love him to death. Obviously, we know this, but I completely agree with this win.
You do?
I do.
I mean, I do, but I don't really care about
I think
that
it's
stuff.
wonderful, and I don't, like, there's similar to Chicken Run, it's so hard for me to find things wrong with this movie. It's just so simple, and it's so sweet, and it's executed so well, and all of the characters have, like, important story arcs, and, like, it's just so good. So I'm so happy that it won.
When you said it was up against Howl's Moving Castle, I was like, oh shit, because Nick, you fucking love those.
Yeah.
The Studio Ghibli stuff.
Yeah.
The fucking nerd stuff.
You haven't seen any. You need to watch them. You saw the one.
I saw the one. You made me watch one for the show, or Usman made me watch one for the show. Shout out Usman. Usman rocks. When Usman tells me he likes those movies, I don't call it nerd shit.
Right. Yeah. You should tell that to his face.
Fuck no, dude.
So this movie also what?
Got that too. I'm sorry. I couldn't
just call me a. That's where I draw the line. This movie also won 10 of its 16 Annie Award nominations, a BAFTA, a Critics' Choice Award, a PGA Award, a Visual Effects Society Award, among many more. Those are like the big hitters.
I mean, fair.
Yeah. It
honestly,
deserves it.
right? Yeah.
It deserves it. So in a few more notes on production, in March of 2000, it was officially announced that Wallace and Gromit were to star in their own feature film. Remember, this is the first one. Obviously, they have all their shorts, but this is the first feature. It would have been Aardman's next film after The Tortoise and the Hare, which was subsequently abandoned by the studio in July of 2001 due to script problems.
Okay.
The film was originally going to be called Wallace and Gromit: The Great Vegetable Plot, but the title was changed as the market research disliked it. And I think it was better.
I think it's much better.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because, okay, well, for one, from like a producing perspective, I could see calling a movie The Great Vegetable Plot and being like, no kid's gonna want to go watch a vegetable movie.
Yeah.
Even though I know you have like the little fucking animated vegetable people running around. VeggieTales? Is that what it is? Yeah. But, dude, as like a little kid who I know I've said it on the show previously, again, but like fucking was super into like werewolves and like weird cryptid shit.
Yeah.
A movie called Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
It's so sick.
It's so sick.
It's one of the coolest titles of all time.
It's in the history of this show, in the history of movies ever.
Because how do you can't even like anticipate what that movie would be about, but it's incredibly intriguing.
Yeah, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
It's one of the rarest titles that does something like that.
It's one of the whalest titles.
Incredible. What?
One of the WERE, one of the whalest titles.
Right.
Listen, do you want the vulgar jokes or you want the kid jokes? Okay.
Fair.
Do you need to bleep me or do you want to just roll your eyes? You fucking pick.
I'll do a bit of both. I have them.
Yeah, fair enough.
The first reported release date for The Great Vegetable Plot was November 2004. Production officially began in September of 2003. And the film was then set for a release on September 30th of 2005. So
your birthday.
They gave them 2 years. What? Also makes no sense.
Is that not?
Right. So in July of 2003.
Wait. Sorry. Again, I'm out of it today. It's not my fault. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta be a little patient with me. I want people to know at home, this fucking guy. When we met freshman year of Emerson?
Yeah.
And when I get someone's phone number, I always ask them to put a bunch of info in their contact. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, put as much info as humanly possible. Like, I want your fucking brother's name, your mom's name, your address, your birthday, etc.
Yeah.
So I want people to know that this guy, one, he put our anniversary as April 17th, 1969. For notes, you put, I like French fries and penguins.
What?
I swear to God, you did all of this for your address.
COVID was a horrible time.
I don't know how I saw this and continue to be friends with you.
Yeah, that's insane.
Your address, you put the North Pole, no clue state, 12345, United States of America.
What?
I don't know, you had like a winter theme going on here. I don't know why.
I don't remember a single thing about this.
And then, this is the part I'm mad at you about. For your birthday, you put June 3rd, which is your actual birthday, but you put June 3rd, 1922. So one, every time it's your birthday,
my fucking funny.
My phone is like, it's Nick's 160th birthday. And on top of it, every time I see it, I always forget if you fully committed to the bit and June 3rd isn't actually your birthday, or you just lied about the year.
That's fair. That is fair.
So every year I get fucked, and you're always like, yeah, my birthday's in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, I know.
Happy 104th.
Happy 104th.
That's awesome. I don't
Asshole.
remember that. I don't remember any of that. That's crazy.
It used to be funny, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what happened.
I'm not sure what happened either.
It's fine.
Sure, let's go with that. We do a comedy show, but it's fine.
Yeah. I think I'm slightly funny.
So what's next on your note there?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
In July of 2003, Entertainment Weekly referred to the film as Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit for the first time. And then production started a month later. So Nick Parks said that after separate test screenings with British and American audiences, including children on both sides, he adjusted the character's speech for American audiences. I don't know if that was like a budgetary play. He was trying to get the American audience for
like box
money.
office. Yeah, probably.
Or if it's genuinely like between the two, it's not reading at all to the other audience.
Yeah.
But we know that British people can understand like more English terminology. I don't know.
I mean, if it's a box office play, it's a smart play.
Either way, I think it's
Yeah, because the U.S. box office just like pulls in way more money than the fucking U.K. box office.
Yeah, totally. Shortly after the film's release, the Aardman Animation's warehouse caught on fire, and this was one of the biggest points of research that I did for this movie. Was I went down this whole, no pun intended, rabbit hole about this fire. So there was this warehouse fire, which resulted 30 years of work on past projects being destroyed.
Whoa.
Reports of the incident claim that the flames reached over 100 feet, and pretty much all assets from Grand Day Out and a few other Wallace and Gromit shorts prior to this film were destroyed.
Wow.
Completely.
That sucks.
Additionally, all but only a few set pieces from Chicken Run were destroyed. Now, thankfully, the sets and character models from this film were on tour to promote the movie, so they were saved. But dude, it's like the most tragic thing in the history of Aardman that this warehouse just caught on fire.
Well, the
everything got
is fine.
wiped out. Yes,
that's all I care about.
But it's so insane that like for such a physical, practical, like tangible medium that it all just got wiped out. Like there's no way that you could save any of that.
Though, can I be honest?
Physical. Yeah.
You knew a little too much about it.
I committed arson.
There it is. I was trying to beat around the bush. You just straight up confessed to it.
I did it. I'm bleeping all of it.
I think most of this episode is just going to be bleeps.
Yeah. So that's all I have for production. However, we have a very special guest today. And to introduce him is a sexy, handsome young fella from my past, young Nick Warner, 23-year-old Nick Warner. Let's hear it. We are very thrilled to have a very special guest today. He is a cinematographer whose work has helped define the look of some of the most beloved stop-motion films ever made, from Chicken Run, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Paranorman, to Isle of Dogs, and the film we are discussing today, Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Tristan Oliver.
Woo!
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for being here, man. This is so cool.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Yes, it's very exciting. I was actually telling Matthew before the show that Chicken Run, I'm a big stop motion animation fan and an animation fan in general. And Chicken Run, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Curse the Were-Rabbit are three of my favorite stop motion films of all time. And the fact that you worked on all three is incredible and wonderful. And I'm so excited that not only are we talking to you today, but we're talking about Wallace and Gromit, one of our favorites. And yeah, it's really, really, really great to have you.
Great.
So the way we kind of like to do these interviews is we like to go all the way back to kind of like the beginning of your career and finding your footing in film, and then we'll eventually get to like Were-Rabbit. So starting from when you were young, how did you first find your way into cinematography, and what led you to eventually working in stop motion specifically?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, as a child, I grew up in a house without a TV, and my parents didn't have much money, so actually my exposure to films was limited, to say the least.
Sure.
And I guess when we did get a TV when I was about 12, it would be, old black and white movies on the TV on a Sunday afternoon, that kind of thing. So I really did grow up with a sort of love of old Hollywood stuff, and also really cheesy westerns, which is what they used to put out in that time slot. But I never really thought of it as a career option. I mean, my parents were very heavily involved in the theatre, and I was very much looking towards a career as an actor, as a performer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
And then I went to university when I was 18, and an audition came up at the end of my first year, and I went and I took an audition, and I got a role in a movie. And that was the first time I'd been on a film set in my life, and it was a sort of road to Damascus moment, because I was so painfully unaware of the process. I mean, honestly, I could have just have landed on Mars. I had no idea. I'd never even owned a stills camera in my life, and I was at this point 19, going on 20. And the crew, the film crew, the camera crew was so nice. They were just the loveliest bunch of guys, and they were, in those days, obviously all men. But the cinematographer was a guy called Peter Bijou, who would then go on to win an Academy Award for Mississippi Burning. And he also shot The Truman Show. He was a big DP, but he was the sweetest guy. And I had sort of come up through the education system's a little bit different in the UK compared with the US. So when you reach 16, you specialise. And you normally kind of get arts or sciences. And I had actually tried to stay on both horses. So I had kind of left high school with a sort of bunch of qualifications in physics, biology, chemistry, English and theatre. So I had a kind of, I understood the tech and I understood the science of what was going on. And again, these guys explained it to me. But I also, coming from a very strong theatre drama background, I also had the kind of art as well. And for the first time in my life, I thought, well, maybe this is something I could do. And I then had a kind of slightly bizarre, erratic 2 or 3 years. I was finishing my degree and I was still taking parts in short films and doing lots of theatre work, but I was also working as a clapper loader. And then I left university and I had like a year where I was working as a clapper loader, and I just thought, you've got to make your mind up. So I went to film school at that point, and
nice.
The industry in the UK at that time was very, very heavily controlled by the union, and it was an absolute catch-22. You couldn't work on big jobs unless you were a member of the union, but you couldn't join the union unless you were working on big jobs. And so there was an awful lot of family in the British film industry, and you would get, the grip would be the father of the junior grip, who would be the cousin of one of the Sparks, and the gaffer and all the Sparks would all be related. It was just like that's how they got in. It's incredibly, it's like the mafia. So what going to film school gave me was, it gave me a union card, as much.
There you go.
That's huge.
And I was very lucky. I had a very, very good cohort with me at film school, and we made a couple of movies that did very well on the student film circuit, and I won a couple of cinematography awards as part of that.
Nice.
And then, you're just spat out the other end, and you just go, what do I do now?
That's what we're in right now.
We just graduated
so
recently.
I've got this award, and everyone goes, yes, so, you sort of
Who
do short
cares?
films in your entire life. Off you go. And I kind of, this is, I have to stress, this is pre-mobile phones and pre-computers.
Sure.
So
Yes.
a long time ago. The recent past. So I managed to get hold of the telephone numbers of one of the juries on one of these prizes I'd won. And I rang every single person on the jury and said, give me a job. And hilariously, one of them, who was a woman DP called Nina Kelgren, who I now know quite well, she said to me, "Oh, I hated that film." She said, "I didn't vote for you."
Wow.
And I was sat next to her at a BSC dinner about 2 years ago, and I reminded her of this, and she claimed to have no memory of it. Anyway, I did eventually get some work focus pulling for one of these guys, and I was absolutely terrible. I mean, focus pulling. I've often said this. Focus pulling is a divinely given skill, and good focus pullers, they will work every day of their lives, and they will have a fantastic career because they are like gold dust. You know. And what I wasn't was a good focus puller. So that was never going to work. Anyway, I was also shooting music videos and shorts in the way one does when one leaves film school for, you know, a slice of pizza and a cup of tea. And I got this job for this indie band, you know, who had like nothing, no money. And so I had a friend working at this little animation company in Bristol called Aardman Animations. And they were so small that there were only 4 people working there.
Oh, that early?
No way.
Yeah. They were working out of a garage. And I rang this guy who was my old friend, Dave Redette, and of Wallace and Gromit fame. And he said, yeah, come and, you can have these, you can borrow these lights. So I drove down to Bristol, I picked the lights up, and they said to me when I got there, are you doing anything next week? And I said, no, not really. And they said, do you want to come and shoot a commercial for us? Because we haven't got any crew. Because they would never schedule anything. So they would start shooting, and they would just shoot and shoot and shoot until they had finished. So sometimes they book you on a job, and you go, how long is it? And they go, could be 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could be 6 weeks, you know. And anyway, they'd lost the crew off this job because they'd all got other work. So I went in and I shot a toilet cleaner commercial for them, which was stop frame and on 35mm.
Wow.
And at that point in my life, I had only shot 16mm because that's kind of all there is. There was no pro digital cameras in those days. Right. So all commercials and films, everything was on film, basically. You know, a bit of news coverage was shot on tape, but it was all still film. But 35mm was definitely a step up. And then I finished that job for them, and they said, "Oh, do you want to come back and do another?" And it just kept going. And so I never had any intention in my life to go into stop frame, but I stepped through the door of that garage at exactly the right time because, you know, they were about to go ballistic because they were making, as well as making commercials. I mean, I can't stress how tiny this space was, but they would run 4 commercials at once in a space that was probably 40 feet square.
Oh my God.
And it was, you know, it was crazy. And in the corner, there was a guy finishing up his student film. And that was Nick, and he was finishing Grand Day Out because they'd thrown him out of the National Film School because he'd been there for 7 years.
Right.
And so Aardman had just given him a corner, and he was the set for that, the deck for that was about 6 feet square, and he was literally stuck in the corner finishing that. And then they were also shooting a series of short films, one of which was Creature Comforts. And that won an Academy Award.
Right.
And Nick was nominated both for that and for Grand Day Out in the same year.
He beat himself.
Yeah, exactly. He was up against himself in some way. So that is about, I'm going to say that is about 1989, actually. And the other thing that happened that kept me there was that I had a child and I was very, very young. And I suddenly had this baby who appeared out of nowhere. And I have absolutely no idea how that happened. And I had to, you know, I had to take some responsibility because actually I was very fond of the child and still am. You know, I didn't run away. I went, oh, this could be fun, but I do actually need to earn some money. So I just kept taking those gigs at Aardman. And within less than 3 years, A, they had moved into a much bigger building, but B, Wrong Trousers went into production. and I was asked with Dave to shoot that.
Awesome.
And so we did Wrong Trousers, and that won an Academy Award.
I was about to say, there you go. Yeah.
And then we went on to Close Shave. I was slightly less involved with that, and I can't really remember why. I think I was also working for other people. I think just the logistics of it meant I only did about half of it. But Dave did that, and then that won an Academy Award. And then very quickly, everyone wanted Aardman to do their commercials for them, and then the deal with DreamWorks was signed, and we went into production on Chicken Run in about 98. We're in development in 97 and 98. So, yeah, and that was bonkers, you know, because suddenly you've got a feature film, and you know, Wrong Trousers was made for the BBC, so it was made for the TV, and although it is highly cinematic, and I've seen it projected, and it really does bear scrutiny. You know, it was a small film, and so it was Close Shave, BBC half-hour special. You know, so we really had to think hard about. And I'm sure I've said this in a lot of interviews, but I will repeat myself. You have to think about how you fill the canvas, because a big projection screen is a different environment to view a film in. So, you know, how do you take a medium that we were dragging, kicking and screaming into the cinematic world because it had traditionally been kids' TV. And no attention at all was paid to what it looked like. They would just put a soft light over the top, point the camera at it, and, you know, they would caper around in front of the camera, and 5-year-olds would clap. So, but, you know, we really, I mean, Wrong Trousers, I saw it only about a year ago. I think it was the 30th anniversary, and it really did bear up under scrutiny. You know, it's like a proper film. But Chicken Run it really was a bigger thing. But that film, it was like Concorde. It took off, it flew, it got higher and higher and higher, and then it landed, and that was the end of the job. And so we finished on schedule and uniquely slightly under budget.
There you go.
And we had this great looking movie. And then, I guess, along came Curse of the Were-Rabbit. And Curse of the Were-Rabbit was, I don't know, maybe I should stop talking at this point. And
No,
please.
I think I'm answering all your questions in a row.
It's
perfect.
You're all good. It is so interesting to hear, and this is why we like to ask these questions about the kind of career progression and kind of how you got to where you are now. Is like, you think of these things, especially us coming out of film school ourselves very recently, of like, you know, we're at this phase in our lives now where we're like, all right, we're at the point where we're like, all right, do we cold call people? How do we get to the next phase? And what does that look like? There's a lot of confusion, but obviously with lots of hard work and talent, it just, from the way you're describing it, it did feel very natural. Like one thing just led to the next and led to the next. And it's so interesting that, you know, this group of guys that are, you know, making commercials in a very small space is now making this huge movie that had such an impact on Matthew and I, and obviously many, many, many more people. And like I said at the top of the show, like, stop motion is such a fascinating medium for me because I've never done it, but I've always wanted to do it. And it's something that, you know, Matthew and I have talked about doing in the future.
Yeah.
But with stop motion, obviously a lot of what ends up on the screen is the result of such incredibly precise work that happens a lot in, you know, pre-production. So I'm curious how your approach to the collaborative process is with like directors and animators to kind of make your creative vision as a cinematographer more present, and kind of how you are also serving the director's vision.
Yeah. Well, forgive me if I give you another 20-minute answer.
Yeah, no, please.
No, go for it.
I mean,
the more the merrier.
I mean, the first thing to bear in mind is that every director is a completely different voyage on a completely different ship, you know, because although you're building experience with what you can make appear on the screen, the person who is at the top of that tree, might have a completely different sensibility. But I think in general, let's be general, my approach is very much as it would be on a live action movie, is that I would get the script. If it's an animated film, I would typically get the storyboards or maybe even an animatic. And so I would have some idea of the shape of the movie and, what some of the shots look like. And then I would start to pull visual references. So I would start to pull stills and clips, and I would share them with the director, and the director would be sharing them with me, and, he or she would say, I hate that, but actually that's really nice. Maybe for this sequence we could look at something like this, and you start to find films that resonate with you or images that resonate with you. And that's not to say that you're actually trying to copy them. There's just a kind of vibe about them that feels right. An example of that would be actually in Paranorman. There's a little sequence in Paranorman called Norman's Walk to School, where Norman walks to school. And it's got a very, very specific look to it because Norman is estranged from reality and other kids, so he's always a little bit kind of separated from them. And we found this wonderful little independent movie called George Washington about this gang of black kids who live in this kind of rusty old rundown town. And it's absolutely delightful, this film. And just the way it was shot very much informed that sequence of Norman walking to school. So it's very different, but at the same time, it gave us something just to hang a vibe on, to get that going. Totally. And that's what you're doing when you make films. You're just trying to fit it all together, really, like a big puzzle. And you have to be, you have to consider two things. One, are you abiding by the rules of the universe that you're creating? And this is very important in animation because you can create any universe you like. You can make it as nuts as you please, but you still have to abide by the rules. So, everyone has one eye in the middle of their forehead and all the houses lean at 45 degrees. That's absolutely fine. But, make sure that is consistent. And the other, huge thing with animation is continuity, because we would typically be shooting on between 40 and 70 units at once, which means we have, my equipment inventory is normally 80 to 90 cameras, 150 to 300 lenses, and all the associated lighting and grip that goes with that.
That's awesome.
So, I get to a point when we hit, 14, 15 shooting units, because obviously you ramp into these things, where I am no longer capable of lighting everything and framing up everything on my own. So then I have to bring in a +1, and sometimes I bring in a +2. And if you're working at Leica, you bring in a +4 because they run a absolutely humongous operation there. They'll go to 80, 90 shooting units. So then what I'm doing is I'm directing my other DPs, and I have to see every frame, every test clip that they shoot, and I will sit and watch it projected with them and give them notes on it before anything is shot, because it has to look like one hand made it, and that hand has to be my hand, because that's why I'm there. And, these guys are all very, very talented. But if you turn your back for a second, they will go off and do it in their way. And actually, they're there to do it in my way. So guys I work with regularly know that, and so they park their style at the door and adopt the style of the movie, whatever that is. But my mantra is always that you should not let the medium get in the way of making things look beautiful. So the fact that you're shooting animation shouldn't really be relevant. You shouldn't be making concessions to that, because otherwise, again, you're stepping outside the rules of your universe. And if an actor walks across a room with sunlight coming through the window, they will pass from shade into sun, into shadow, and that's considered perfectly fine. But show an animator that they have to move a puppet through an environment like that, and they'll say, well, I can't see the puppet's face at the end of the shot. And I said, no, you can't. And guess what? You're not going to. Because this is the universe we've created. We haven't created a universe that has got some undefined light source in it, just so you can see the puppet's face more clearly. So, your duty as a cinematographer is to the final coherent look of the movie, and you need to make it beautiful and you need to make it cinematic. Otherwise, it just looks like a load of dolls dancing around, And for me, the greatest achievement is if the audience sits down and within 20 seconds of sitting down, they have forgotten they are watching an animated movie. Because the story and the look should be strong enough to carry your imagination, and you just forget what the medium is.
Yeah, totally.
It's a little bit preachy, I appreciate, but
no,
you do this long enough, and you see other people doing it, and you just think,
yeah. No, totally. I'm curious because you were mentioning having so many different units and so many different cameras and lenses and all of this equipment. And obviously, at the end of the day, you have your vision and you have your job as the cinematographer to bring this whole world to life and have it all feel cohesive, as you mentioned. So, what does your actual day-to-day look like? Are you like running around between all of these productions? Yeah. Are they all like relatively close proximity, so it's easy to kind of navigate? What does that look like?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, because there is a received wisdom that you need a lot of patience. But in actual fact, it's, as you surmise, it's incredibly frenetic, and you occupy a huge amount of real estate. I mean, we would have, typically 4 or 5 big sound stages, and in addition to our shooting space, we've got all construction, editing, and VFX on site, and puppet making. So we will take over an entire studio complex to make one of these movies, and a set can be anything from 3 feet square to 150 feet long. It just depends.
Sure.
The universe is typically based on a 9-inch human, whatever that is. 25 centimeter human.
Yeah.
And so the world they occupy is scaled to that. And if you think about it, if you double the height of your puppet, the cubic space of your set quadruples.
Yeah.
So you're suddenly see, Tim Burton likes a big puppet, but what that does is it makes all his sets enormous, which means you have to then rent twice as much studio space, 4 times as much studio space. Which is very expensive. So there are practical considerations that come into this. I've slightly lost my train of thought. Sorry, what were we driving at?
No, all good. Yeah, I was asking about
my day.
Yes.
My day. Okay, right. Good. So my day. My day is like this. So my day starts. I get in a little early, and if I possibly can, I will see dailies before everyone else, so I know what is coming. And because we shoot digitally, I kind of have a rough idea of what they are anyway, but just to sit in the theatre on my own in the dark and have someone run them for me, I know I'm on top of it. And then directors will come in, key crew will come in, production design, set dressing, whatever, and we'll sit and we'll have crew dailies, or crew rushes as we call them in the UK. And then from there, the day pans out. And normally, my morning consists of being on the studio floor, addressing issues based on rushes, or tearing stuff out and setting new stuff up, but I'll also be in edit. So I'll be being called up to edit, to check stuff out with the directors, talk about what's coming up. That kind of continues throughout the day, but the afternoon then tends to be art department visits, VFX visits, and because of the length of time we shoot, which is typically 72, 80 weeks, it's like 18 months of actual shooting, you're always in some state of pre-production, even when you're in production, right up to within 10 weeks of finishing. So, I might be sat round a table with heads of department and people from the production team looking at storyboards, planning what is coming up in 10 to 12 weeks' time. And especially with the art department, because they will be building the sets, and the puppet department will be making sure that we have the character assets ready for what's coming up. At the same time as being permanently in pre-production, you're also almost immediately in post-production, because what you're shooting is going into the VFX pipeline. So I also spend some of my day in VFX for a number of reasons, looking at stuff they've done, asking them if they can do stuff, discussing what I need to shoot in order to give them the assets they need in order to do X, Y, or Z effects, And we gather a lot in camera, but there's still the effects has to go on, on top of that. Depends again who the director is. So the day is pretty frantic, and it's typically I get in about 7:30, and a normal wrap would be 7, but we normally run on till, I don't know. I've probably got some crew in the building until 9 at night, and that isn't always me. So
fair,
if there is, because I do. If I've got the step counter on, I'm going to easily do 25, 30,000 steps a day.
Wow.
My crew are doing at least that.
That's awesome.
They are running.
Yeah.
And the process is, I don't know if you know, but basically, each set is brought to the point of readiness exactly as any film set is. So the set goes in, art department goes in, set dressing is done, lighting is done. Any lighting changes or motion control is worked out. The animator steps into the space, and then I will talk through what needs doing with the animator, maybe slightly before what I just said, and we'll work out whether there are any practical difficulties to do with the set, or to do with how it's been lit, or to do with where the motion control rig is that's going to compromise the animator, because they have to be in there for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Right.
And once the gun is fired on a shot, the animator is on their own in the unit, and the crew moves on. So the crew is like a herd of wildebeests streaming through the prairies of the studio, if you like. And then if the animator gets into trouble for any reason at all, light might go out, the motion control rig might wig out, a puppet might break, they grab a walkie-talkie and they shout into it for the appropriate person to come and help them. And a camera assistant or a puppet technician or someone will go in there and sort them out. But they work alone because they don't need any distraction.
Right.
And that definitely would be watching paint dry, actually. watching an animator work. I guess we need to talk about Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Yep.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up. Because, we're talking about kind of the process of how these movies get made, and the very, almost frantic process, and this very long, crazy process. But if you could, we were going to ask about the specific process of making Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Because I think in this movie especially, you have, the Were-Rabbit himself, which is probably a much bigger puppet than the other puppets. So how does the environment work when he's on the screen? And if you have any, specific highlights of this whole process, specifically Were-Rabbit, we'd love to hear them.
What I would like to say is I think basically the way stop frame movies are shot anywhere in the world now is pretty much the Aardman blueprint. And I know this because I know a lot of people who worked on Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach and things like that, and they were not shot in the way we shot stuff at Aardman. But what I've found is, as I've worked at other companies around, as I've worked with Wares and I've worked at Leica, that the Aardman blueprint is the way, because they just kind of started with 4 people and became 300 people, and their ramp into it was, Leica appeared
as
overnight.
Yeah.
So I don't want to stretch the analogy, but it's a little bit like America and Italy. Okay, so Italy had the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and America just kind of popped up.
Oh, yeah.
So Anyway, the the Aardman model. So we'd made Chicken Run, and then we went on to Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Curse of the Were-Rabbit um, it was the film that Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted, because we went into this 5-picture deal with DreamWorks,
Right.
and what he wanted was he wanted Wallace and Gromit. So this was the film they wanted, and it was the last film we shot on 35mm.
Oh, wow.
So it's all on film, and we'd come off Chicken Run, and everything had gone really smoothly, but it didn't go really smoothly on Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Curse of the Were-Rabbit ran into a number of hurdles regarding script, especially the third act was a bit of a mess, and we kind of started it and then stopped. And then we kind of started again, and then we stopped again, and we started again.
Huh.
But we did get it made. But there was... The reason I say it's the film Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted is there was a lot riding on it from the studio point of view, from the DreamWorks point of view. They were kind of all over it. So we had to navigate that as well. We were... Again, there's not many electronic effects in it. It's mostly in camera. There's a few little bits and pieces. The Were-Rabbit is interesting because he's definitely bigger, but he still exists in the same size world. So
Sure.
he's about... I mean, it's a long time since I've seen him, but I would say he's about 18 inches, 16 to 18 inches, something like that.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
and he's very wide, very big. And what happens as the puppets get bigger is that they become more and more unwieldy. So they become harder to animate, and actually
Right.
the number of people who can animate them becomes smaller because you need someone with really strong grip to kind of get in and do it. And there was an animator called Merlin Crossingham who actually co-directed Vengeance Most Foul. But he was just like an on-the-floor animator in those days. But he was a climber, and he had the hand power to animate the Were-Rabbit, because in order for the damn thing to stand up, all its joints have to be
Right.
tensioned so
Yeah.
it doesn't fall over.
Like, it has to be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to consider the physics of these things. But all that stuff in the forest is really interesting because we had a special stage, like a small stage where we built the forest, and we would flood the stage with smoke and shoot live action background plates. And this is up until very recently, this was something you can really only do properly on film, because you shoot your background plate with smoke with the move you want on exactly the same camera, and all you do at the end is you take the motor off, put a different motor on, and off you go. You're on film again, because the film cameras we used shot single frame, and they also shot up to 125 frames a second. and we haven't had a digital camera that can do that really until very recently. And the digital cameras that can do that and give you a good image are prohibitively expensive. So you can do it on an Alexa LF, for instance.
Yeah.
You can do it on a Sony Venice quite easily, but you couldn't conceivably have 80 of those.
Yeah, that's
No.
crazy.
That's why we use digital stills cameras. And the other thing about those films we shot on film, so everything up to the end of Curse of the Were-Rabbit, is those cameras were from the 1920s. And
Oh, wow.
so they were 60 years, and because they've all got serial numbers on, so you can literally go online and look them up, and you can say, oh, this was the B camera on The Lady from Shanghai, or or Sunset Boulevard. It's just like they were real workhorses, those cameras, but because they are just really like a cross between a clock and a sewing machine, as long as they were well maintained, they would just go on forever, and they would run quite happily at 125 frames a second, and they would run quite happily at 1 frame every 2 seconds. So they were brilliant, those cameras. They're really brilliant. The problem with them is, and this is somewhat with hindsight, the problem with them is that relative to the universe you are shooting, they are the size of a small truck. And I mean, they really are, because if you're talking about a 9-inch human, then a Mitchell camera with a 400-foot magazine and a 5:1 zoom on the front and a motor and a geared head underneath it is easily a couple of feet high and a couple of feet long.
Yeah.
So if your human is only 9 inches high, it is exactly like having a truck parked in your living room. So, the constraints they give you in terms of being in the way of the animator, blocking the light, and being indescribably heavy, that's all gone now because the cameras are tiny now.
Of course.
They're mirrorless digital stills cameras. So all that camera grip, especially, is now much, much lighter, but also infinitely cheaper. You can buy components off the shelf from China. They arrive in a couple of weeks. You can bolt them together, and you have a perfectly usable 3-axis motion control head, which would have taken some guy in a shed 6 months to build and cost you 50,000. I mean, I'm not joking. This is really how much this stuff costs.
Sure, yeah.
It could be expensive, and now it's a few hundreds, maybe 1,000. But so that's been a kind of liberating factor. The disappointing thing is those cameras only last a couple of years.
That's the thing.
And then, the disposability of them is really, it's depressing, because those cameras that we shot Chicken Run and Close Shave and Curse the Were-Rabbit on, they had done their duty, and they've been honourably retired. But honestly, you could get them out of a box now and shoot a movie on them. There's like not a single wire or chip anywhere near the things. They're just a piece of mechanics. They're like a Model T. They are.
Yeah.
Sure, and there's so much history to them too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what makes it cool. Yeah. I know obviously there was like a lot of downsides to shooting with film and these massive cameras, but in 2026, does part of you almost miss it, or is it overall a net positive that you now shoot digital?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, what you have to appreciate is that when we were shooting on film, that's all we had. So we weren't kind of retrofitting our opinion of film. We were so used to it, we were so familiar with it, that all those things that freak people out about using it these days weren't an issue, because we did it every single day of our life. We knew how to use a light meter. We knew how to speak to the lab to get the stuff processed. We knew when we looked at dailies, if they were too light or too dark, whether that was within acceptable limits and we could print down or print up or whatever. We just had that language. What digital has given us is it's given us a much smaller form factor, which is super useful. It has given the animators an infinitely better live image, because we were using video taps on our film cameras that were only 625 lines. They weren't even HD. And now the animator has a 4K image live off the back of the camera. And the animators would never go back. Not in a million years.
that is totally fair.
Say it's hard to go back. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the infrastructure for film just wouldn't support an animated movie anymore, because everything is, there is quite a lot of film being shot at the moment, but it isn't a fraction of what used to be being shot. And we would send in, every night we might send in 30 or 40 tins of film, but in each tin there would only be 15 to 20 feet of film, because we only shoot what we need. We never shoot coverage, because that's insane in animation.
Expensive, time consuming.
We never shoot take two. So the storyboard is biblically accurate. You have to stick to the storyboard, because if you ask an animator to do a shot that takes them 3 weeks and then go, no, we're going to use a different angle, or we're not using it, that is cripplingly depressing for them.
Yeah.
So we would send and all our labs. I mean, we used to use Technicolor in London, and they knew us, and they would expect to get in these bits of film that were that long, and they would carefully staple them together, and we would have them by 6 a.m. the following morning. They were absolutely great. But no lab on earth would do that now, because it's a 400-foot minimum charge.
There's no way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That said, I have shot some film recently, and it does look great. I mean, I did some model unit work on Poor Things, and that was all shot on film.
Nice.
True.
And that was the first time in a very, very long time that I've had next morning dailies for film.
Oh, wow.
That's very rare. I mean, I guess if you were doing a big film at Pinewood or Shepperton, you would get them. But this was in Hungary, and they had an overnight lab in Hungary.
Wow.
And that was pretty special. But that
is awesome.
Yorgos is hardcore with film, and we were shooting,
totally.
we were shooting negative, black and white, and reversal or chrome, as you call it, which is that's a nightmare to shoot on, because your dynamic range is only like 2 stops on chrome, so it's very difficult. But I was very pleased to see it, because despite what I've just said, which is that we lived and breathed it and we knew it, it had been so long since I've done it that I kind of, the night before I thought, oh my God, can I actually remember how to do this? And I pulled my light meter out. I dusted it off.
I was going to say, I'm sure it was like muscle memory at a certain point.
Yeah, to a certain extent it was, yeah.
Absolutely. Going back, because I know you had mentioned earlier that some of the third act had changed in Were Rabbit. If you're able to, I'm curious if they're how drastically and kind of what those changes were.
Yeah, I think, and forgive me because I can't quite remember, but I think actually the problem was they didn't really have a third act.
Oh, okay.
And I know this sounds insane, but this is not uncommon on animated films, because they take so long to shoot, and the studio are saying this is our animation tentpole for summer 2028,
right?
And it's now, and you think that's fine, but then you go, hang on a minute, we got to start shooting now. So everyone goes, well, Act 1 is fine. Let's start shooting, and you start shooting, and people then. They're really getting the fear, because you've started.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Act 3 still isn't ready. Then you've got a treatment for it, or you've got an outline for it, but it's physically on the page. It just isn't there, and so someone will write the ending, and it'll be great, but it will be pointed out to them that adds 12 minutes to the movie, and under contract you are delivering. Well, if it's DreamWorks, you're delivering a 78-minute title-to-title movie, because that was the Katzenberg way. I'm sure it's changed now, but he was very strict. 78 after the title card at the beginning and before the roller. That is 78 minutes. So then you go, well, okay, we'll have to rewrite that, and it all just becomes. And then obviously. Things you're doing in the first and second act are informing the third act. So then you start to have to retrofit stuff, and then maybe you want to go back and put some gags or some pointers or some MacGuffins into your first and second act because of something you've written in the third act. So it's not a good way, actually. And it kind of happened on Chicken Run, but the thing about Chicken Run is that they fixed it before it was too late. And so we just carried on shooting. But Curse of the Were-Rabbit was a perfectly good movie. It was just a bit bitty. And there was also, to be honest, a sense that the scale that Aardman was now operating at was a bit scary for some people. Now, I think for most people on the studio floor, it was really exciting, because suddenly... not only did we have the money, but we had what the money did, which was we had the equipment and we had the people to do what we wanted to do. So we were able to buy the lenses we wanted. We were able to buy the motion control equipment that we wanted and put it to good use. going back to my point about justifying the size of the frame, if you can move the camera around freely, it gives a sense of space and gives a sense of scale, which you really need. But I think for those people who had been happy beavering away as a foursome in a garage, it was all suddenly quite scary. And to be fair, they were the people with whom the buck stopped. So, they own the company. They were directing the movie. And after Chicken Run, they kind of went, oh, God, that was horrendous. It's like people interfering with what we do, And so there was this sort of long, dark night of the soul moment after Chicken Run where they went, no, we're going to go back to basics. We're going to put more thumbprints on the cloud.
Sure.
And because, then they tested it, and you come back to the projection issue, which is you project something 40 feet wide, and that thumbprint looks like you've ploughed the puppet.
Right.
And you just can't do it, because everyone said, oh, it's too smooth, it's too smooth. I said, yeah, it's too smooth when you look at it on the studio floor, but you look at it projected, and it's not smooth. It looks handmade, which is what it is.
Well, I know previously me and Nick, we said we're very fresh out of film school. And a lot of our audience is people that are currently in film school or are just starting to kind of break into the industry. So for any aspiring cinematographers that may be listening to this episode, specifically people that are into animation and stop motion like the two of us, do you have any advice to not only kind of break into the industry, but to make their visual style feel unique to themselves and unique to the movies they're working on?
Let me explain about stop frame animation.
Yeah.
There's not much of it about.
That's true.
I think I was very much there when it was the golden time. So there's really more than, I think the most number of films we've had shooting at any one time globally has been 3.
Wow.
And
That's it.
currently, I think there's 1.
It's good to
So
know there's at
Lincoln
least
in
one.
Bardo is shooting in London, but that is a kind of evolutionary outlier. That's a one-off movie. So I don't think Wes will do another film because they don't make any money. Aardman are just wrapping a movie and will then be in hiatus. Leica are in hiatus at the moment. And Shadow Machine are in the very early days of pre-production on the next Guillermo del Toro stop frame movie. So the problem when you have 3 movies shooting all at once, as we did when we had Chicken Run 2, Wildwood, and Pinocchio, and in fact Wendell and Wild 4, is that you train a lot of crew up. And then suddenly you've got a load of crew who haven't got anything to do. So I think what I would say is, if your first love is animation, don't be too precious about it being your first love. And if someone offers you a music video or a short film or a drama with humans in it, go and shoot it. I think if you're really green out of film school and you're looking for like a trainee position or something, understand what that can mean for you. Like there should be nothing that someone asks you to do or help with that you consider to be too menial for you. Because what I'm looking for when I take on a trainee, I don't need you to know anything. I know that your resume is going to be thin. That is fine. Obviously, you just come out of film school. What have you got? A couple of short films. I know that. What I need you to be is enthusiastic. I need you to be interested in films. I need you to be interested in working in the camera department on my film. I don't ever really want you to say, do you know what, I think I might give editing a go, or I think I might go and work in VFX. Yeah, okay, go now, because I've got a queue of people outside the door who want this traineeship. So you go and I'll get someone in who wants to do it. Because what we do is so niche, the body of knowledge you need to embrace on this is huge, and we will give it to you, but not if you're going to waste it. And the other thing I would say is when you send out your resume, if you're applying for a traineeship or a junior position, put that at the top, put your name and then put that. Do not put director of photography or cinematographer, because you know what? If you're a cinematographer, why are you applying for a traineeship?
Mm.
And if you're a
Good point.
trainee, why are you calling yourself a cinematographer? We've all started out knowing nothing.
Right.
So come in, we know you know nothing, but if you are keen, we will tell you everything you want to know and more. And if I say to you, can you make me a cup of coffee? Or can you sweep the floor? And you go, yeah, of course. You're far more likely for me to then say, come and have a look at what I'm doing in here. Come and have a look, everyone, at how I've lit this, because I think it's quite interesting.
Mm.
But if you say, I'm not here to sweep the floor, you can go home. You know, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not about having the right bike and the right tattoos. It's about having the right frame of mind. You know, being a DP is, yes, it's cool, but it's also enormously hard work, and on your shoulders is not only the look of the film, but the budget, the schedule, and the people who work with you. Mm-hmm. You are responsible for all those things. So yeah, it's cool, but it's really hard work, and people need to know that. And if that's exciting for you, God damn it, go and do it. But if it seems too much like hard work, if a 6-day, 65-hour week seems a little bit too much for you, go and do something else.
That is very fair. Yeah.
It's entirely fair, you know.
Yeah.
And you go onto a movie. It's like me as that young actor on that movie set. I could not get enough of what was going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you should feel when you go onto a film set. You go,
yeah.
Well, that guy over there and that woman over there, they worked on this, 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 and this. Maybe when we have a break, I can talk to them about that, and that would be really cool. And if I'm really enthusiastic, maybe they'll go, oh, yeah, okay, I like you.
Totally.
So it's about that. But just don't go in with too much attitude, I think, is what I'm saying.
No, definitely. And like, yeah, I mean, of course, everyone starts somewhere, and you have to know your place, especially when you're starting out. And I think that that is incredible advice, because I think that I try my best to go in with that attitude of like, I am here to learn, and I'm excited about the things I am doing, and I want to learn from the people who know way more than me. So I think that will definitely resonate with our audience. But with all of that, Tristan, thank you so much for being on the show. We truly, truly appreciate not only your time with us today, but also all of your work that you've done. Because again, like I said at the top of the show, you've produced some of our favorite movies, and especially Curse the Were-Rabbit, the movie we're talking about today, on the show. It really touched us. So truly, thank you so much for everything. And yeah.
You are absolutely welcome. Can I just say one more thing, which I think is really important?
Absolutely.
And especially now, okay, because the whole of the film industry at the moment is in absolute chaos, and it's quite depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a job on a movie, that is currently a massive privilege, and it's a really fantastic and exciting thing. Just lay some money away. I know that's like the most dad thing to say, but if you are a freelance film technician or film artist, whatever you want to call yourself, you will not work every week of the year.
Right.
And I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I have had protracted periods of time when I haven't worked, when I thought that everything was over. And then I've got a movie and it's all been fine. But the only way I've been able to sustain that is because I've put money in the bank. So I know that feels like something you do when you're 40, but it's actually something you do when you're 20, because it just, you will thank me for that advice.
No, totally. Considering the state of the industry, but also the state of the world as a whole. So that is again, Absolutely. I'm sure that our audience will appreciate that, and I personally very much appreciate that advice as well.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you guys.
And we're back. Thank you so much again to Tristan Oliver for not only doing the cinematography for this film, but giving us some of his time. It was such a special moment, and the amount of things that I've learned and sat with since we've done that interview is absolutely insane. And I'm so appreciative that we got him as a guest for this episode, because this was a huge one for us.
To people listening, tell me I'm wrong, and he wasn't like the coolest fucking guy you've ever heard in your life.
Coolest guy. He was
Like,
so
what
cool.
the fuck?
So cool.
I don't know if you could tell, but we were almost like intimidated. We're like, this guy rocks.
He's very cool. But yes, thank you again, Tristan. And now, moving on to the plot of Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. So, we open with our classic Wallace and Gromit song over a montage of pictures of Wallace and Gromit through the years. It's so sweet and so beautiful. Again, I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. We see that a rabbit in the night, that is the official name, a rabbit in the night has broken into a local garden, and a motion-censored gnome sends off a series of triggers that wake up Wallace and Gromit, and they set off to capture the pests.
By the way, this was like the first big visual. I'm like, oh, I remember this shit. Like, here we go. Like the eyes on the paintings.
Yes, all of it. It all came back immediately. Like, as soon as I started this, I was like, okay, the montage in the beginning, they have the song. I was like, oh, that's sweet, we're back. But then it really was like this true opening that I was like, oh, I've definitely seen this before.
Like, this is like why I signed up to do this show.
Yeah, 100%.
This moment.
Yeah. So they save a local's prized pumpkin from being eaten and are applauded for their work. We see that the pair have been holding all the rabbits that they've captured, and Wallace has an unhealthy obsession with cheese. Now, this is, again, not an uncommon thing. He has loved cheese since he went to the moon. But
that's a true.
It's gotten
that is a
to
true
the
statement.
point where it's an issue, and like even Gromit is like, I need to lock up your shit and not give you access to any of this. You need to stay away, get on a diet, eat some vegetables.
Now, by the way, Wallace and Gromit, besties for the resties, right? Mm-hmm. Fucking best friends forever.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe us. No?
Yeah, I think so.
We're best friends. We're besties for the
Is that
resties.
a question?
Well, there's hesitation. I didn't know if you would agree. I was a little nervous that I would get
agree.
my feelings hurt.
Of course
We're
I would
besties
agree.
for the resties.
Put your heart on your sleeve.
Well, I try when I ask to be your best man, but it's fine. So we're best friends. And listen, in this movie, they're also best friends. And Wallace has an eating problem.
Yes.
And they live together.
Yeah.
And Gromit, being the saint that he is, decides to help him out.
Yes.
And he feeds him nice food, takes care of him.
Mm-hmm. Like we just had this conversation.
Do I need to connect these dots for
like
you?
We just had this conversation off mic.
We definitely did. We used to live together, and we were best friends. And instead of helping me, what? You publicly shame me on our radio program.
Why would I ever publicly shame you about any sort of like eating habits ever?
How many times has it been brought up that I would just demolish your pints of Ben and Jerry's?
Well, that was because it was fucking personal, okay? I wouldn't make fun of you for like eating too much in one sitting.
You think?
But I'm upset when my property is stolen.
You think Wallace wasn't eating Gromit's cheese, dude?
No.
He totally was. Look at him.
Gromit's not eating cheese.
That's all he eats. He eats vegetables and cheese. He's not eating dog food.
No, of course not. But I would like to think that he's at least making himself like a,
whatever those losers.
We have to stop. The editing is going to be too much.
Just bleep it.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But my point is, after all the we have done, is Gromit. It's a good friend. It's a loyal friend. Okay, you could argue it's a man's best friend. What the fuck? Need I say
I
more?
don't do that?
I'm saying we used to live together, and you had your chance to prove yourself, and you failed.
How? I've been nothing but kind to you. I've been there through thick and thin.
That's not true.
How?
Okay, through thick and thin, you were there for me. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Remember when you fucking
die on that hill?
Remember you ran off to Disney for a year and then hung out with Jimmy Fallon?
That is a career opportunity, and I was still available via phone call and text message.
That is true, and I abused that pretty good.
Exactly.
Especially
you take that shit back.
Okay, I might have to take that shit back. I might have to take it back. I love how even as a bit where I'm like, Nick fucking sucks, I can't even like really keep up with it because I just have no evidence. I'm like, Nick fucking rocks, dude.
It's funny, until it gets to the point where I'm like, oh, I should actually
Wait a
stick up for
minute.
myself
Yeah, you gotta
because I
defend
don't want
yourself.
people that don't know me as well to think that I'm a bad person.
No, Nick rocks. He rocks so much that I would eat his ice cream on him, and he still was my friend.
Yeah.
Which,
There were times that came close.
I know you did run away to Jimmy Fallon for a little bit, but
yeah. It's because Jimmy wasn't eating my ice cream, anyways. That's not a euphemism.
he probably
by
has
the
a
way.
fucking endless supply of his own.
Yeah, well, like, I had to go get it for him.
Oh yeah, that's
one
true.
day.
Well, can I
That's
ask you a
historic
question?
whenever
I don't know
that-
if you can say this on air.
I'll believe it.
Sick.
I'll believe the whole thing. Just do it. I'm gonna tell the whole story.
But if a guest ever wanted like the Tonight though, or like a crew member, whatever,
Yeah.
did you guys have a supply of it? Or did you have to go run to like a convenience store and buy it?
The best part about this is I'm gonna bleep this whole thing out.
Sick.
But for your reference, and this is the most beautiful part, this is up for interpretation, right? For
Yeah,
anyone
no one
listening,
will ever know.
all of this is bleeped.
Yeah.
So, but if
Yeah. Oh no shit. That's crazy. Get Fallon to do it. I'm not
I'll get
wasting.
fired.
I'm not gonna get bad credit for your ice cream.
That's fair.
Fuck you.
That's fair.
I have an apartment. Yeah. What the fuck?
Anyways, the point is, I've been a good friend to you. You've been a good friend to me, and that's
Well,
all. And we
well.
love each other.
I don't know about the second part, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'm giving it to you. Fucking take it and run with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it.
So yes, this obsession with cheese with Wallace is so bad that he has developed a machine that alters his brain to get rid of his cravings.
Which is a thing. No?
Yeah, I think so. You can get like hypnotized
Yeah, that's a thing.
out of a thing. Yeah.
Which I'm like, did he invent it?
Well, that's the thing. Like
Like
you
in the
never
world
know.
of
Have you
Here's
ever
the-
gotten
okay.
hypnotized for it? Because if not, you might get briefed on. You might have like a Wallace
I
like,
might.
intro video about like how it works.
Though I have been I have been tried to be hypnotized. I don't know if that made sense in the English language,
No,
but
that
you know
was
what I mean.
perfect. You nailed it.
I have tried to get hypnotized.
Yoda, I am.
Fuck you. No, back in high school we had a fucking like I think it was like every Thursday, so it was like a weird little boarding school. Not it was
Hypnotist that came in.
yeah. Okay, not every Thursday
What?
the hypnotist came in, but every Thursday we had formal dinner. So we all had to get like a suit and tie and go to the dining hall and stuff. And then there was always an event in the auditorium after.
Right.
And they did it every week. So sometimes an event rocked, and then sometimes you could tell they need to fill a time slot and they didn't really know what to do.
I'm so happy that I've been to your campus so I can
Yeah, you can picture
this
this.
vividly.
Yeah, picture
Vividly.
fucking high school me
my
in
God.
a suit that's way too big for him. Because when I got it, I was much heavier.
This is
walking
incredible.
around in this giant ass blazer to my little auditorium, freezing in winter, and we're on top of a mountain. And I think they brought in like a fucking hypnotist once. And they had a bunch of people go on stage, and he would just like did like, okay, like in 4 seconds, like you think not like you think you're but like shit like that, like you think your ass is on fire, or you think you're a chicken. And then at the way end, he's like, okay, everyone in the audience, we're gonna try to do it together. And I listen, I don't believe in ghosts or any of that fucking nonsense. Okay, but in that moment, I was like, I want this to work. I really want to be hypnotized. That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
And then he did it, and then like half the audience was like, "Oh my god, like the sky's purple," and I was sitting there like, "What is this bullshit, dude? This is the worst shit ever."
But you walked outside and the sky was purple.
To this day, yeah, I
Still
don't know.
is.
And
You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah, and my
Just know, Tristan, that it's a bit that we're
Tristan, I'm
trying out.
sorry.
We've never done this before.
I also love how we're not bleeping like swear words,
No.
so I can
It's
see someone
just
like. This is their first
Just
episode.
really vulgar shit.
Yeah, and they're like, "What are they bleeping, dude?"
Vulgar shit or shit that we just don't want people to
Yeah,
actually.
we just don't want to get canceled.
Well, it's not even that. Like,
No, it's not. It's not. Genuinely, it's not. Maybe one day we'll put it out.
It's just goofy shit.
It's a lot of
No, it's not.
from Nick.
So, so they get another call to take care of a much larger rabbit problem, and Wallace gets an idea to use his mind manipulation, omatic, that's what it's called, to try to brainwash rabbits into disliking vegetables and increase his appetite for them in the process to help him lose weight.
I've
So
tried
it's
this
like
many a
it's
time.
like a very simple but also like well thought out plot for the movie And it's like insane how like grounded but also logical it is, and it's still like very whimsical. It's insane. This plot is insane.
It's insane
because it's nothing, but it's everything, and I love it so goddamn much.
I do really like the idea of like a somewhat cartoonish world. Like they're not taking themselves that seriously. They're goofing around. It's fun characters with very fun personalities, but one of them is just like a British guy, but like a happy, cheery British guy, and he's just like a genius inventor.
Yes,
because like quite legitimately, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah,
because like in the first short, they go to the fucking moon. Like this guy could invent a rocket,
and I believed it.
Like
I was so fine with it, and the moon was made of cheese, and I bought into it.
I totally bought it. Like when he invents a machine that he's gonna like take certain traits from the mind of a fucking rabbit and put it into him, and then he's gonna take traits from his brain and put it into like a couple dozen rabbits in a glass cage, and there's like green lights, and I'm like, yeah, I think this would work.
Yep, makes sense.
Like I fully believe it.
Where's the blueprints? I'm gonna make it tomorrow.
I don't need to anymore. I'm all good. I don't live with you anymore. I can't get your ice cream.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I actually do have ice cream in the freezer right now.
Do you really?
Yeah, because we got some for Love Island.
Oh, there you go. I like that with the one time I came to visit you, you didn't have ice cream.
No, I couldn't.
Was that on purpose?
Especially not Ben and Jerry's.
Yes. Did you think about it?
No. Well, didn't we talk about it? And you were like, we should get ice cream, and I was like, absolutely not. And then the funniest and most insane part was, you show up, we have all these cookies, you eat all of them in one night. I wake up, I'm pissed. I also think you're joking because I was like, there's no way you actually ate all like 24 of these cookies in one night. And I like scoured the house for them. Turns out you fucking ate them all.
And I didn't even enjoy it.
And you just did it for the bit. And I was genuinely like, there's no way that we don't live together for almost 2 or 3 years. And he comes back and he does this shit immediately.
I'm a comedian.
But it's not funny.
It was funny to me. I laughed hysterically.
Good.
I want people to know at home that Nick and Maddie went to bed. And I was like, oh, I'll have like 3. And then I sat there. I think I was watching you, and they're like the little Pillsbury ones.
The ones that I was so excited for because that was like it's like Halloween season. We like waited specifically to get these cookies for when you showed up, and I was like, Maddie, I want them so bad. Not thinking that you'd be a fucking little devil and eat all of them.
That's on you at this point.
I know it. Yeah, it's my fault.
But I want people to know. I had like 4 or 5 in bed. And I was like, wouldn't it be really funny if Nick woke up and they were all gone?
But see, this is the thing, is I try and share these special moments with you. I try and have good hospitality. I wait for these cookies because they're such a special moment in my life. And I want to, and for the season, and like you're coming in, and we're going to HHN and Universal, and it's this big moment. You're seeing Epic for the first time. Yeah. I was so excited. This was like a peace offering. I was like, it was like an olive branch welcoming you into my home. And like,
yeah,
just to betray me like that.
I didn't care for it. No, I don't like it. I like the war.
Yeah.
So, okay, hang on a minute. When you and Maddie came to visit us a couple months ago, what did we have in our freezer just for you? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare go silent on me. Did we or did we not get you ice cream? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No, I respect it.
Did I eat it on you overnight? No.
Yes.
No.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Not all of it.
Fucking case in point. You told me the next day that you ate some of it.
Me and Nicole did have a bowl of ice cream. Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was a half gallon. Fuck you.
That's fine.
And also, I don't think you had a single bowl. Because we made sure to get you like mint. It was like your favorite flavor.
I thought we did. Maybe we didn't. To be fair, it was a crazy week.
We were
fucking running around.
Yeah, we were.
But it was a nice gesture. I will give you that. I'm not saying that you don't have good hospitality. I was just saying that when I displayed it to you, you just threw back in my face.
Yeah, correct.
In the moment.
I will.
But then you made up for it, so I'll give you that.
And I'm probably coming to see you again. And I just don't. Just the olive branches.
I'm not getting cookies. I'm not getting fucking ice cream.
I don't need
any sweets. It's gonna be chicken and rice every fucking night. That's it.
You're trying to get me shredded.
Yes, you're gonna be shredded like the piece of chicken that we're gonna eat. Okay, moving on. So he ends up like fusing his brain with one of the rabbits, and Gromit destroys the Mind-O-Matic, and the rabbit whose mind is melded with Wallace is named Hutch and is placed in a cage. So that night... Yeah.
Question. Do you think in this world, is Wallace known, especially at this point, maybe not when this movie came out, but when this movie came out, let's just assume it took place in the same year, like in the world. Like what year did this movie come out?
2005.
2005. So like in the world of Curse of the Were-Rabbit, I'm just going to also assume it is 2005. So at this point in 2026, with all his inventions from the shorts, Were-Rabbit, and then the more recent Wallace and Gromit film, which to be fair I haven't seen, but with all of these things that he's done, is he like a famous, well-known inventor? Or do you think he's still just like this small town guy who just like happens to be brilliant?
Honestly, I think he's a small town guy, and I think I think it's part of the creator's like sensibility, because Nick Park is just like a British chap that's doing his thing, and like not that he's not famous, because he is, but to me he's not like a, you know, Spielberg traveling the world and fucking not flexing, but like showing off all of his like insane movies and everything. And like he does this world tour, and Nick Park just like makes his movies, he releases them, they do insanely well. People know him, and he's a good artist and director. And he just carries on. Like to me, I picture him in just like a normal flat in London, just doing his thing.
He lives in like a council estate.
Yeah, like he's just like a normal ass guy. And I feel like that rubs off onto Wallace.
But why is that?
Dude, I don't know. He's just humble. He's just so good.
Yeah, what the fuck? Because like I feel like Miyazaki, right? Same thing, but like he doesn't go out and do the tours. Like I feel like I don't really see interviews with him. Very much just like if you know, you know. But I feel like his name has way more recognition than Nick Park does.
Yeah.
But why?
I don't know. It's interesting because I think part of it is like the Miyazaki's like the king of the anime style. Like it's like a Japanese specific.
That's
it's
true.
like very different culturally. So maybe because Nick Park is like closer to American culture than Miyazaki is, it's less. It's a little bit more like demystified. Because like Miyazaki's like, there's so much mist around this man. You cannot break through. Like there's like so much unknown and curiosity about like what he does every day, and like I feel like that's part of it. But I feel like Nick Park, I feel like people are just like, oh yeah, he's just like a British guy,
just like a dude,
just like hanging out. Yeah, I don't know. There's like less like lore and mystery behind it.
I feel like if you don't watch anime, that kind of Miyazaki style, you don't really see a lot, especially in like U.S. theaters, obviously.
Yeah,
and not that stop motion gets made a lot either, because it really doesn't.
Yeah.
However, I will say Nick Park isn't the only one that does stop motion.
Totally.
Like we now know like the Aardman blueprint is kind of the way everyone does it. Like he really kind of reinvented the wheel when it comes to stop motion. Like that whole creative team did. But like you could argue two of the bigger stop motion films, at least in this country, are Nightmare Before Christmas and Coraline.
Yeah,
and those aren't Aardman.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Corpse Bride, Paranorman. Like a lot of the same people worked on it, but it's not like a Nick Park thing.
Right.
So maybe it's like when you go see a fucking Miyazaki thing, there's not really a ton like it.
Well, exactly. I think like when you look at the style of Miyazaki, you go, oh, that's Miyazaki. When you look at stop motion, I don't immediately think. I mean, I do because I know I'm more in the
you're
world.
A freak.
But normal people wouldn't look at it and go, Nick Park, like immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but maybe should they? I guess that's my question. Should he be the same level?
I think they should.
I think so too, right?
And honestly, maybe we're just like ignorant about it, and people are like going crazy.
Could be,
but in like the general day to day, I don't think people reference Nick Park specific style of shots as they do Miyazaki.
I know, and I feel like that's kind of fucked up.
I agree. I'm gonna start bringing him up at work.
We're going to single-handedly fix it.
Yeah.
We're going to get him in the 5 Timers Club, and then everyone will know, like, in the industry.
Let's do all the Wallace and Gromits.
Okay.
He's already 2. He's already 2. Well, Chicken Run, he's already 3.
He's 3.
Dude, we're so in.
Oh, we could totally pull this off.
Let's do it.
Just do some more shorts, and we'll throw in, like, a Shaun the Sheep or something, and then 5.
100%.
Done.
Okay, we have to move on. So, that night, a were-rabbit wreaks havoc on the town, eating all of the prized veggies, and Wallace and Gromit get scolded for their lack of work that night. The were-rabbit also got into Wallace and Gromit's home and prevented their contraptions from waking them up. So this is why they couldn't get out in time. So Victor the
Sorry.
guy.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Go, please.
Just one. It's one of my favorite things to do. But two, when I was a kid, I never connected the dots of werewolf and were-rabbit. Like it's just were and then the animal name. And I also never really did it. I never connected it for most of my life.
Okay.
Until like a week ago when we watched it the first time to prep for the interview. And I was like, were-rabbit, where's that come from? And I just want people to know it took me 24 years to be like, oh, werewolf. Got it. Like, I felt like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, to be fair, when you first pitched it, I was like, what is a were-rabbit?
What the hell's a were-rabbit?
Yeah. And then
But
and
it's
like when you said it,
genius.
I almost was like, is that real? What is that?
No,
And then-
they exist.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah,
But-
they're real. they're like a thing.
Right. So Victor, who is the hunter guy, the guy who's going to kill all the rabbits at Lady Toddington's house, most British name of all time, tells the town that he can kill them, and Lady Toddington convinces everyone to give Wallace and Gromit another chance. So they try to lure and capture the were-rabbit with a lady were-rabbit they build, because again, inventor,
Of course.
super whiz. But Wallace ends up destroying it.
And
Now-
which, for the record, this would work.
Oh, totally.
Like if I was, you know me, people who listen to the show know me. If I was a were-rabbit and there was a big, like beautiful, I was gonna use a different word there, a big beautiful female were-rabbit, dude, I am trapped.
Yeah.
You got me hook, line, and sinker. I am in that big ass net.
That's fair enough. It's funny that you said that from your perspective and not just like, oh, this would work on like an animal.
No,
It's like
if I became a were-rabbit, that's how you would get me.
it's like you're not talking about like normal tropes of actual animals. It's like,
No.
it's you.
No, it's me. Well, okay, if I ever turn into like a werewolf or a were-rabbit or a were insert animal, whatever.
Were-Pelton.
A were-Pelton. That's horrifying. If I turn into a, no one wants to see a were-Pelton, trust me. But if for God forbid I turn into a were-Pelton, we all know I would not go around eating vegetables, right? It's just not going to happen. I'd probably go around town eating all ice cream
Right.
and just like sweets.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing, and in real life, just normal Pelton, I think the only thing that pulls me away from ice cream and sweets would be a woman.
Holy shit. All right. Fair enough. We're an hour and 33 minutes into recording. I love that.
It's a genius plan.
Okay.
Just know if when where Pelton comes up, that's what you're gonna have to do.
I'm not doing shit. I'm hiding in my bathtub. Like,
When I come see you in October, I feel like where Pelton is like the personality I use if I ever got like drunk. I was like, where Pelton's coming out tonight. Let's go.
that's fair. Okay, so moving on. Gromit witnesses a fruit and veggie store being ransacked by the were-rabbit and chases it through town. Gets pulled underground as the were-rabbit continues to steal all the veggies. Wallace and Gromit realize what happened and that Hutch is the were-rabbit, or so they think. After Gromit cages up Hutch, he sees a trail of muddy footprints that transform from were-rabbit to human.
To Wallace.
That leads to Wallace's room. And
By the
there
way, I
was a
remember
huge
this twist.
pile of veggies on his bed. I didn't remember this, but it was
Oh, you didn't?
one of the greatest reveals in cinema history. I'll say it.
Well, actually, I was watching the movie and it has the Hutch fake out reveal. Mm-hmm. And when that happened, because I haven't seen it in fucking, God knows, 15 years maybe.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I could have sworn Wallace was the were-rabbit. I'm like, did I just misremember that? And then sure enough, there's a big reveal and I'm like, I'm fucking brilliant.
Hell yeah.
Dude, little 4-year-old me was like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's him.
Yeah. So after celebrating his triumph with Toddington, Wallace is confronted by Victor, who pleads for Toddington's affection and wealth. During the confrontation, a full moon appears and Wallace transforms into the were-rabbit. This is where we see him for the first time.
Yeah. But
His
is it
true
only
form.
a full moon thing? I know it's a werewolf thing.
Maybe.
But in this movie, is it just every night?
I think so.
Right? Because he
think so.
transforms like 6 or 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, is a full moon out for just one night or is it a couple nights?
I thought it was one night, but I don't know, man. So Victor now seeing the perfect chance to eliminate his rival, acquires 3 golden bullets from the town's religious leader, priest. I don't know what exactly he is.
Yeah, I think most priests walk around with golden bullets. I think that's the thing.
No, it is. Yeah,
especially over there.
Someone growing up Catholic. Yeah.
Who grew up in Manchester.
Right. Yeah. So Gromit shows Wallace that Hutch now has an obsession with cheese and is a mutated version of a rabbit wearing Wallace's clothes.
It's awesome.
It is so awesome. It was one of the funniest moments of the movie. Truly.
It's one where there's a lot of charm to this movie, but also there's so much creativity to this movie.
Yes.
And when that shows up, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
Shit you can only do in animation.
Exactly.
That lands and is good.
And there's also shit you could only do in this Wallace and Gromit world.
Yes, 100%.
And it just they fucking, I don't know how long it took them to write this thing, but they came up with so many good ideas.
It's so good.
Though just the concept of a were-rabbit is so much fun.
Yeah.
They fucking killed this one.
100%. So Wallace now realizes that he is the true beast. Upon learning that the were-rabbit is still at large, Lady Toddington reluctantly agrees to let Victor kill it. When Wallace transforms again, Victor arrives and attempts to shoot him, but Gromit intervenes. Victor locks Gromit in a cage, but he escapes with the help of Hutch, and they quickly devise a plan to save Wallace. Now, at the vegetable competition that this is all building up to, Victor seizes the golden carrot trophy to use as ammunition after failing to hit the were-rabbit with any of his golden bullets that he got
sucks.
From a normal church.
Dude, if someone took one of our fucking trophies and used it as a bullet, I'd be so mad.
Or Evie. Just
our
2 spikes.
It's probably do some
sick.
Fucking damage, dude.
Would honestly, if there's ever a vampire situation that's going on, that would be the first thing I go for.
The Evie?
Yeah.
Okay, some of the other ones,
what is it? Silver. I'd bake silver into it, and I'd sprinkle garlic on it, and I just hold it by the handle, by the bottom of it, and
the only thing with the Evie is it's like a hard plastic.
That's why I bake it with silver.
But the other ones we have are glass.
But it's not as cool. It's it's almost like a reverse vampire because it's 2 teeth.
I guess,
sharp teeth.
And they are pointy.
That's what I'm saying.
Did I cut myself on my Evie the other day?
Fucking case in point, dude.
Yeah, dude. What are you talking about? I got my shit rattled by my Evie.
You just made this whole point about them being plastic, and you got cut by them the other day. What are the odds?
I fully take it back. You're so right. Go for the Evie.
So Gromit tries to lure Wallace away using the giant marrow, is what it was, but I thought it was a watermelon. The vegetable Gromit has been nursing to health.
There you go.
Growing.
You got there.
Yeah, I thought it was, and then when it broke open and it was all green on the inside, I was like, "What is this actually?" It's a marrow. Apparently.
Is that a British thing?
I think so. Yes. So he tried to lure Wallace away using the marrow that he was going to enter into the competition, but Wallace gets distracted and the marrow ends up getting squashed and is green on the inside when Hutch drives the Antipesto van into a cheese tent. Antipesto was the name of the pest company that they had when they were still doing their thing.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And not about plot, like you specifically. Why did you say they squashed the marrow like they settled an argument?
It just got squashed.
Is that do you think in the States it's squash the beef,
yeah.
Over there it's squash the marrow?
I would think so.
It definitely is.
So as Victor aims at Wallace with the golden carrot award thing, Gromit uses a plane from the fairgrounds to deflect the golden carrot. The plane begins to fall and Wallace leaps to catch Gromit. They both land in the cheese tent.
Hell yeah.
Which is a sentence I never thought I would say.
I also like how at a big vegetable competition, there's just a random cheese tent.
Who is selling all that cheese?
And no one was in it?
Audience?
Who's the audience?
Vegetable guys, yeah.
I don't know, but I love it.
So Gromit disguises Victor as the were-rabbit, and the townspeople chase him away.
Yeah, in the big sexy woman one. Yeah.
So Wallace morphs back to his human form, now free from the effects of his invention, and appears dead, but Gromit revives him with, you guessed it, cheese.
Wait. I just had such a strange moment.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think it's a fever dream sick moment.
Yeah.
Okay. We watched just before I gotta give some context here. We watched Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and then like 2 or 3 days later, I watched Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Okay.
And if you remember the ending of First Steps, you have Sue Storm dead.
Yep.
And then like Franklin Richards like touches her and brings her back to life.
They revive her with cheese.
No, for a second, I got like the movies confused. And I was like, when does the little baby touch Wallace and bring him back to life? I don't remember that happening. It's a little cheese baby.
I mean, basically. That's insane.
And then you said they bring him back with cheese. I'm like, no, they don't. I'm like, what is he talking about? He got it wrong.
He lies.
He lies.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I'm going to take over as host.
Yeah, okay. So, so Gromit receives the golden carrot for his marrow and his bravery, and Toddington converts the grounds of Toddington Hall into a sanctuary for Hutch and all the other rabbits, and all is well in the world, and that is Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Now, going into final thoughts, I'm going to lob it over to you.
Hell yeah.
Because this was your choice. I feel like this is a very full circle moment. You finally, after almost 3.5 years, get to give your final thoughts on this movie. Go ahead.
Okay. Again, there's currently... So just keep that in mind. And probably within an hour, I'm going to text you saying, hey, when are we recording Curse of the Were-Rabbit? So just know, when I say this, I'm barely present on Earth. But while on one hand, I think this movie is fucking brilliant. It's like amazing. I think it is really funny. It's really charming and creative, and it completely holds up. And if you rank the Greenlit movies, it's way up there, right? Like, I have so much respect for like how this movie was made, and just the execution of it is so good. At least on a rewatch, 24. Again, this is really probably the movie I haven't seen in the longest amount of time in the last 3.5 years of doing this show.
Yeah.
The first half of the movie, I was a little let down with.
Okay.
Only because I think the movie takes a second for it to really pick up some steam. And once it does, I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
Especially the ending. Like, the whole second half of this movie, I think, is incredible.
Yeah.
But the first half, I did find myself kind of like, why is this movie almost... It feels like it's just spinning its wheel a little bit. It's not really going anywhere. And I'm like, I have all these memories of this big rap. Like, what's taking so long?
Yeah.
And I do think, like, the first half, it's a little slow. And the pacing's not the best. But then, like I said, once it kicks into gear, goddamn, it goes crazy. So I did really love this movie, rewatching it, but a little part of me was let down because I remember it being crazier as a kid.
That's fair. Yeah. Because I didn't remember this movie up until I started watching it.
Fair.
I was very worried because, it's always with this show, it's a gamble. Either it's going to be just the worst piece of dog shit we've ever seen in our lives, potentially a life-changing movie, or, just kind of just mid and nothing.
Sure.
So I was very worried because 2 of those 3 options are not necessarily great.
No.
So going in, had that thought. And then as I started watching it, I was like, oh, as I mentioned previously, like, they have this very simple, and yes, it's a little bit slow in the beginning, but they have such a simple plot that somehow got me. Like, it roped me in. It grabbed me by the throat and said, "You're going on a ride." And it was very similar to Chicken Run in the sense that the plot was so simple, and yet they still had room for bits that genuinely were great. That again, like we said, that you can only do in this medium.
Yeah.
They also had enough time in a movie that's hardly an hour and a half to, like, deliver on such incredible story arcs for all of the characters and genuinely, like, solve an issue that is presented in the beginning. And while, yes, as we mentioned, like, it could have been a short, it's one of the very few shorts that, when done in a feature, works. It just somehow, everything comes together. To me, there was not a moment in this movie that I was like, they could have done that better.
Fair. That's fair.
I was so in. And the note I had for my final thought, is that stop motion has my heart. But Wallace and Gromit, the characters, truly have my heart. Like, these guys are so incredible.
Such a nerd.
I love them so much.
About to tear up over here.
And I updated my Greenlit rankings.
Ooh.
And obviously, Pan's Labyrinth jumped. It's now number 4.
Okay.
With that being said, I realized, we all kind of fall into our categories, and I am absolutely like no holds a stop motion guy, and we've known this because of our Chicken Run episode, because of our Nightmare episode.
Yeah.
In order: Nightmare, Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, Curse the Were-Rabbit.
Whoa,
It's my 3 favorite movies that we've ever covered, and they're all stop motion, and it just so happened to be that way.
Holy
when I was
shit.
thinking back at like the experience I had rewatching that movie, the excitement that I had during the episode, and like my final thoughts, because I've re-listened to a lot of our episodes either during editing or actually like just re-listening to them, just because I forgot like what I had said.
Yeah, get the views up.
Well, maybe, but no, genuinely, those were some episodes where I was like, I don't have anything bad to say about this. Like, these are, as far as I'm concerned, perfect movies. So I was like, but it's also insane that my top 3 are stop motion, considering, as we talked about with Tristan, there's not a lot of stop motion out there.
No, there really isn't.
Like, really, truly, there's not. Compared to a lot of other, even animation, like traditional animation, 2D, 3D, live action, especially, like, there's not a lot of stop motion out there.
You get
So
like
the fact
one
that
every
they're
2
up
or
there,
3 years. That's it.
All 3 are up there is insane to me. And I think even Coraline's in like my top 10, top 15.
Yeah. Coraline's way up there for me as
fantastic. So I really do. I love stop motion, and I love this movie, and I had such a great time, and I'm just beyond thrilled that like we got a chance to talk to the guy who did cinematography on 2 of the movies that I just mentioned. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
I will say, in this movie's defense, trying to forget my sick fever dream brain right now, is with Chicken Run, I was really blown away, but also I went in having never seen it, and I basically had like no expectations, right?
Yeah.
But Were-Rabbit was such a big one in my life, but also just in the history of this show.
Yeah.
And like it's a movie I've always wanted to cover. And I just remember it being like way crazier than it actually is. Mm-hmm. So I do think if I were to watch Were-Rabbit again, now knowing what it is, I'd probably like it way more.
Totally.
And again, I really liked it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it was really solid. It was just not what I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. So I think it was just like almost like the bar was too high. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It became like this legacy film. No movie ever could live up to what my memory of Were-Rabbit was.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I get why it's so high for you.
Yeah.
Especially because you're like stop motion boy.
Stop motion boy, but also, going in with like almost no
expectations at all.
And, like being scared that this movie was going to be terrible.
Fair.
Yeah. But before we get to our final thought about this movie, let's talk ranking system. Because to me, if you remember last episode when we talked about Night at the Museum, right?
I think
that episode?
Battle of Smithsonian.
Yeah. Yes. That was the first ever episode where one of us had mentioned that we wanted to get this movie on 4K.
Oh, yeah.
And it was you.
Yes, it was.
So for this one, this is the first one where I would probably get it on 4K.
Oh.
Yeah. This one was, again, fantastic. So wonderful. Probably the best movie that we've covered so far on the
Summer sequels.
And I'm so happy that we got to do it. So give me that fucking 4K, baby.
Do you want to remind people what our rating system is for people who don't know?
Yes. Instead of doing like a 5-star system, we have essentially 4 tiers on how we rank the movie. And the top of the list, which is exactly where I would put this movie, is buying it on 4K Steelbook. Because we both have a physical media obsession, and it's detrimental.
Very.
A step below that is buying it on sale or resellers for cheaper. So still having it on physical media because that's the bar now.
Yes. But just like waiting for like a Black Friday or something.
Step below that, watching it on streaming. And the final step below that is never watching it again. So Pelton, where would you rank this?
I would buy it. I would so buy this.
On 4K?
100%.
Yeah,
full price.
Easily.
Price.
Easily.
Yeah.
Give me the $75 collector edition.
We'll probably look into it.
1,000. That's my first like Google search immediately after this episode.
If we didn't just get the Kill Bill Whole Bloody Affair, this would be our purchase.
Yeah.
100%.
If I didn't just purchase it 7 hours ago.
No.
I purchased it while at work.
I didn't just buy the Prestige at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep because it was sold out on Zavi.
It is a problem. It is a problem. But it's okay because we're in it together and we just fuel each other's addictions. Okay, one final thought on Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
I can't believe this got greenlit.
Thank you all for listening. Pelton, thank you for putting up with my stop motion bullshit.
You're welcome.
Tristan, thank you so much for being on the show. We truly appreciate your time and all of your insights into cinematography in the stop motion world. It was wonderful to have you on, and I'm still in awe that we even got someone that worked on this movie to talk to us, because Aardman is like a huge, amazing company.
Can I throw in a thank you?
Absolutely.
I feel like you always do the thank yous, and then I'm just like, bye. I just seem so ungrateful. So can I give a thank you to Nick Warner?
Whoa.
For you said thank you to Matthew Pelton for putting up with my stop motion bullshit. Thank you to Nick Warner for putting up with sick shit-filled pants Matthew Pelton.
Mr. Booby Pants.
Loser. Someone have a little accident?
I love doing this show with you, and you know that. So I will put up with you any day.
Hell yeah, dude. I do, listen, our dynamic is I make fun of you, and I belittle you and degrade you, and you just put up with it and smile and laugh. And people think it's real, and it is.
Moving on. So, yes, stay tuned for more fun guests and crazy sequels, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
See ya.
This has been a Quaywood audio production.